clarity in business and our message. It's something that we all strive for. And many of us think we have really achieved it. Confuse and you lose. Have you heard this before? You probably have. So when you're presenting your offer, you need to be clear so that your audience can make a decision as to whether to buy or not. If you can't clearly communicate who you are, what you're selling, how it will benefit the user, and why they need it, they will not be buying from you. I spend a lot of time with my clients to understand what their vision is so that we can put it on the page clearly. It's important for you to simplify what you're offering to your audience. No matter how complex the work that you do is, they need to be able to digest it right away to read further on. Today, the long game is clarity in web design. You're listening to the Long Game Podcast with Sandra Scaiano. In a world where everyone is doing, it's easy to get lost in a sea of comparison, secret tricks, and promises of overnight success. The long game is my approach to business. The actual day in and day out philosophy that you have to show up, you have to do the work, and there's no quick fixes for long-term success. I'm a web designer, digital strategist, and energetic thinker, and I'm here to share the process and lessons I experience with my clients daily who are going through the same struggles of building a business as you are. We'll hear from successful entrepreneurs sharing their long game strategies, and I'm fun, so we're going to have a little fun along the way too. Thanks for being here. Let's get to today's episode. All right, I was on a discovery call with someone this week, and for the first 20 minutes of the call, she misrepresented her business. She made it complicated, brought in all this unnecessary detail, and added more than the topic than I should have even been told. And it caused me in my head, to go off on these tangents of thought. And I spent time trying to decipher her business and figure out what the approach would be that I take, only to realize, I didn't get it. I didn't know what she was talking about. So I had to tell her, straight up, you are not being clear. I'm this far into the conversation and I still don't know what you're selling. And it happens. It happens all the time, right? We are all so far down our own rabbit holes. We have ideas that are built off something that, we already do. And we naturally expect the audience to come along with us, but it just doesn't work that way. If you can't clearly state what you do when someone lands on your website, they're going to move on. So it's interesting because later in the call, in that same call, we were talking about SEO, and it's another reason why you need to be clear about your business and who you serve so that you can choose the proper keywords to optimize for. And I took a step back in the conversation and I said to her, "How did you find me?" And she responded with Google search. Exactly. I'm so sure of what I offer that I've optimized my website, even though the website needs to be updated, but I've optimized the back end of my website for it, and it works to bring the right clients to me who need help. So just another example of the more clear you are with your message of your business, the message of what you do, the better you will draw in people to work with you. So what can you do to be more clear? All right, let's hit it. Number one, spend some time with your messaging and drill down to clearly state what you do. The idea here is to be descriptive of your services and what you are providing today. A lot of us get stuck in, I used to do that, or my website's not updated with this. I get it. But when you are updating, start talking about what you're offering now. One of the biggest misnomers with web design is that, your website is set in stone. And actually, it's completely the opposite. Websites are malleable and you can change up your text. You can give a certain phrase a try and see how it's working for you. Too many people, they just leave what isn't representing them on their website because the idea of change becomes all consuming. You can go in and just change your opening headline and leave everything else. You don't have to do a major redesign. You don't have to overhaul the whole website. Just start pecking away and make your website represent who you are and what you do today and make it clear. And, one way to start with this is think about who you help and what you do for them. It helps to get the basics out on paper and then you can zhuzh it up, right? One note though on being clever, you can zhuzh something up after you are crystal clear on your message. With clarity comes the ability to add personality. And oftentimes I'll see people get clever with their website theme before they have gotten clear on their message. And the result becomes something cute, but ineffective. All right. Number 2, what you can work on for clarity is have a clear call to action on your website. Make it easy for visitors to take the next step, whether it's book a call, sign up for a lead magnet, join a program, view your case studies. Websites should be created with a goal in mind and designed around that. They are part of your business funnel. So your goal may be to get people on a call with you. You may want people to take your quiz and then they get a nurture sequence via email. You may want people to self-select right when they arrive at your site. This actually is one of my favorite calls to action to use for people who have, or, who service multiple audiences. You can have 2 buttons at the top asking them to choose the path that they go down. So, whatever step you want your audience to take, you've got to clearly present it and then reinforce that. So, for instance, you want to have a book a call button in your menu, and then you can have that same call to action button beneath the headline, as well as later down the homepage. It provides one message to the viewer as they go down your page. Okay, number 3. So clarity of message is really user experience. You're making it easy for people to find the information that they're coming for. The more thought out you are on your message as well as your customer journey, you can translate that into your web design. So, of course, this varies from business to business, but think about what your audience needs to know to be inspired to take action. So let's just use the example of an e-commerce site. You specialize in a product, perhaps your product solves a big problem, and that might go right in the headline, right? Never deal with tangled hair again. And then below, there can be a button that says, buy the detangler now. And this is giving people an immediate opportunity to make a purchase. That is your website goal for this website, right? And maybe, a video ad brought people in from social media, so they already know about this product. And when they land on your website, they're ready to buy. So another prospective customer on the same site might be like, great, love that headline, never have, tangled hair again, but tell me how. They need a little bit more information. So, there could be a short video of the product and how it's used, and then a button below that, same call to action, buy the detangler now. And next there may be some before and after photos of the product and some testimonials, again, with the call to action button. You're making your product available right away and then adding more info for buyers as they move down the page. And the user experience here is having the call to action at each stage of the page. It takes you to the premier product, so you don't have to go up top to shop, then choose a category, then find the product. It's an instant click over. And as much info on that page, you add as much info on that page as your audience needs to take the next step. Answer their questions right on the page and let them keep scrolling down, then give them the opportunity to act. Because, each person coming to your website, they're going to have their own level of information and experience with your product or your brand. Some may know exactly what they're here for right away. Others are checking you out, your product, your service, whatever it is, they're checking you out. So ask yourself, have you given them enough clear information to take the action step? Make it easy for them to find their way. Less is actually more. And to that point, when you feel like you need to add more, this is a great thing to be explored in your content. Write a blog post about the supporting ideas. There are so many cool ways to use content on your website that enhances your clear messaging and actually doesn't get in the way and muddy up the clarity of your messaging. Okay, number 4. This is a really interesting point to always remember in web design, but in this clarity piece is remember that much of your audience may be on mobile. Being clear is even more imperative for the mobile experience. Screens are small, people are on the go. So breaking it down in message and delivery allows for mobile users to get you and engage. So the more you make the mobile experience easy, that builds confidence, right? This is something I always talk about with my course and membership clients. When you create an environment where people can help themselves to access, it builds confidence, which leads to engagement. Same applies here. And we know this, right? Like when you are on your phone on a site and you're scrolling up and down and not finding what you want, it's frustrating. And more often than not, you bounce, right? So when you think about the mobile experience that you're presenting, you're able to help users access what they need faster. And this can include like creating mobile only sections where content is scaled down to present just what's needed, as well as including calls to action for your audience to get where they want to go quickly. Web design is really a series of decisions, of strategic decisions made along the way. And when you are clear on your message and the outcome you want, it's easier to tackle the design issues one by one. Discovery of message and clarity and all of that, this discovery time is something that is built into every web design project that I do. It's extra time spent at the start, clarifying ideas and strategies that are going to help the client create and craft their content. And I always get the content before the design takes place because it's building the design around your message, not making your message fit into a design box. So give just some thought to how clear you are with your message on your website. If you go back and reread it and say like, oh, what was I thinking? Just start to work on it. Start with just the headline and start writing what you really mean, what you really do. We spend so much energy getting people to our message one way or another. Make the message clear and have your website support you on your journey. All right, everyone. Have a great week. Thanks for joining me today. You can access more info in the show notes at thelonggamepodcast.net. If today's show connected with you in some way, please share it with your friends or hop on iTunes and leave me a review. Until next time, keep playing the long game. This podcast is part of the Sound Advice FM network. Sound Advice FM, women's voices amplified.